Good morning, guys. Today, December 7th, we are going to start a new short unit that we are going to do about the early civilizations. We are going to focus on the Western Hemisphere, okay? So North America, South America, and the early civilizations around there. First, though, we need some basic information about early civilizations, and that's what we're going to do today. So first, we're going to talk about the first inhabitants who migrated to North America and how they did it, especially. So there's something called the land bridge theory. This is also known as the Bering Strait theory. Okay. It's based in artifacts and fossils found by archaeologists. So a lot of people think that this is where people first came from. So we have the first inhabitants of North America and South America migrated from. So this is kind of a distorted picture, but right here, okay, is something called the Bering Strait. And we're going to look at that in the next slide too. But basically, guys, it's where Alaska and Asia, they're very close. However, there is a body of water between there. However, there is this theory that so here it is. Here's a better picture. So between Russia and Alaska, we have this Bering Strait, which is just a small body of water that separates those two land masses, okay? But this theory tells us that during the Ice Age, because most of the Earth's water froze into glaciers, that our water level went down here, and this actually was land, and it was easily crossable, okay, by people. And so what happened there was that people left, okay, Asia and Siberia, Eastern Siberia, which is present-day Siberia, and they traveled through what is now known as Alaska, and that is how they migrated to North America and South America, okay? So, Bering is a land bridge from Asia. That's what they're calling it, okay? The people that crossed that land bridge spread throughout the Americas then, as far east as the Atlantic Ocean, like the east coast of our country, and as far south as the tip of South America. So we need to know about these people, though. Some vocabulary words that we need to know. First, nomads. Nomads are people who travel from place to place, okay? And the early Americans gathered wild fruits and grains, and their main source of food was hunting. The first animals they hunted would have been bison, mastodons. Isn't that a crazy thought? Okay, and woolly mammoths, okay? Those were the most hunted animals. They also began farming, okay? This is something that allowed our early inhabitants to settle in one area if they were able to produce their own crops, okay? They depended on the food supply and started to form communities at that point, okay? Many different groups formed their own cultures with permanent shelters, arts, and complex forms of government. We like to think that that only in recent day we have these things like complex governments or shelters, things like that. But no, that is not the case, okay? So next we have the end of the Ice Age, which really affected this. By 10,000 BC, the Earth's temperature had begun to rise, and the Ice Age was officially ending. When those glaciers melted, that land bridge in the Bering Strait was officially it wasn't a land bridge anymore. It's full of water again. So people could not migrate back and forth then, okay? The Americas were officially cut off from Asia at that point. So some of the early civilizations that we are going to talk about, this is going to go from the year 28,000 BC to 1492 when Christopher Columbus sailed to the Americas, okay? So some early civilizations that we are going to talk about, we're going to briefly hit on the Olmecs, which were between the years of 1300 BC to 400 BC. We are definitely going to spend the rest of the week on the Mayans, okay, the mysterious Mayans. They lived from 300 BC to 909 AD, okay, so in like current times, all right. Then we have the Aztecs, which would be 1100 AD to about 1521, so even after Christopher Columbus came. And then we have the Incans, which lived from 1400 AD to 1572. We are really going to hit these last three. The Olmecs we might talk about a little bit, but these three are the big ones that we're going to hit. We are also going to talk about the mound builders, okay, because that's so close to where we live. So some things that are super interesting about these civilizations. They did use writing, okay? They kept records of trade and other economic endeavors. A small amount of people used writing to predict the future or create collection laws. You might remember, you guys were pretty young though, in 2012, okay, the Mayans, actually, they had made this calendar, right? And in 2012, their calendar ran out, and so people thought it was going to be the end of the world. They predicted that, okay? But it never happened, obviously. Most of the population remained illiterate in these ancient civilizations. They never learned how to read or write. Very few of them did. Only priests, scribes, and other political leaders actually knew how to write, okay? Isn't that crazy? Because that's just something that we all know how to do mostly. But for then it was a privilege to learn how to read and write. Cities were constructed. They did construct cities. We have a lot of ruins that you can go and visit still to this day, okay? Monuments were designed for their deities or gods and other religious or political leaders. Religion was a very big part of their culture. Again, religion was a very big part of their culture. In some of these early civilizations, rulers were considered incarnations or representatives of God. So they thought they were some kind of descendant of God, their gods, okay? They also had social classes. Political and religious leaders were at the top, okay? Then scribes, which would have been educated men. Again, I'm going to point men out. Then we had merchants. Those are people that bought and sold goods. Farmers were under that, and then slaves were at the bottom. We are going to continue talking about this the rest of the week with the Mayans. I'm really excited. This is one of my favorite units. Use this presentation to complete your Show It now.